Today we're working on the 7-1 lesson quiz, which is adding and subtracting polynomials. Make sure that you check out my other video, which we reviewed the additional practice. So that's a great thing to do before you move on to the quiz. Okay, the quiz is only 5 questions long, so we're going to make sure that we go through each question. And if you have any questions, make sure that you reach out to me. Okay, let's look at number 1. We want to see which of the following expressions is a 5th degree binomial. So in my previous lesson, we went through all of the different types of degrees and also the types of names based off of the number of terms. So if we're looking for a 5th degree binomial, what that means is we are either looking for an exponent of 5, or we're looking for a term that when we add the exponents, it also equals 5. So let's look through each of these just to look for the 5th degree binomial, just to see what our options are. So in letter A, I'm going to look for the term that has the highest exponents. The first term has a 5 and a 4, so together that's a 9th degree. The second term is 5 and 2, that's a 7th degree, and the number 6 does not have a degree. So this would be considered a 9th degree based off of the highest exponents of 5 and 4 combined. In letter B, we have the first term that has an exponent of 5 and 1, so that's combined 6. And then the second term has 1 and 6 as the exponents, so combined that's 7, so that's a 7th degree. In letter C, the first term has an exponent of 1 and 2, so that's an exponent of 3. And then the second term has a degree of 5, so this would be the highest degree, which is a 5th term. And then letter D, the first term has a degree of 2. The second term with the XY has a degree of 2. The third term is 1. The fourth term is 1. And the fifth term does not have a degree. So this would be a 2nd degree. So based off of just knowing the degrees, we know that our answer is going to be letter C. But let's talk about binomials. Binomial means 2 terms. So when we think about that, we know the first term would work because that is a binomial. The 2nd degree would work because that's also a binomial, as well as the 3rd degree. The 4th degree has way too many terms to be a binomial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would actually be a polynomial. So if we're looking for a 5th degree binomial, letter C is our best choice. Okay, moving on to number 2, we're writing in standard form. Standard form means the highest exponent to the lowest exponent. So looking at my terms, the highest exponent would be that degree of 4. So since we're rearranging the terms, we want to make sure that if there's a sign before the term, like a positive or negative, we take it with it. So since there's a negative in front of the x to the 4th, we're going to move that whole thing. So the first term is going to be negative x to the 4th. Then I'm going to look for my next highest term, which looks like the 3rd. So that would be a positive 6x cubed. My next term would be squared. So positive 7x squared. Since there's no symbol in front, we still know it's positive. Then we're going to that negative 4x because that would be a 1st degree. And then the last thing we're going to do is the number that doesn't have a degree, which is -4. So we didn't actually have to do anything except rearrange these terms. And you want to make sure, again, if there's that negative sign in front, it has to go with the number. Okay, number 3, combine like terms and write it in standard form. I'm still going to use my color coding, and I'm going to start with the highest exponent. So it looks like my highest exponent is 2. So I have a positive 5y squared and a negative y squared. When you're combining, adding, and subtracting like terms, you're taking the coefficients. Those are changing. The y squared will stay the same. So this is like saying 5 minus 1, which is 4. The y squared will stay the same. Then we're going to move on to our 1st degree, which is 4y and negative 5y. 4 minus 5 is 1. So that would be a negative 1y or just negative y. Then I'm going to move on to just my numbers, which is -6 and positive 27. So that's going to be a positive 21. Doing it my way will guarantee not only are you adding and subtracting like terms, but you're also going to have it in standard form since you started with the highest exponent. So that would be number 3. In number 4, they want us to simplify again, which is combining like terms. In this case, we're adding. And they want it in standard form. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, which is start with my highest degree. My highest degree is going to be cubed, which is to the 3rd power. I'm going to add or subtract my coefficients. So positive 4 plus positive 3 is positive 7. My x cubed stays the same. Then I'm moving to the 2nd degree. I just see negative 5x squared. Oh, let me put my 5 in there too. Negative 5x squared. Then I'm moving on to just my 1st degree. So positive 6x minus 5x would just be a positive x. And then lastly, I have negative 7 and positive 9, which is a positive 2. My answer not only is combined, so my like terms are combined, but it's also in standard form because it's the highest degree to the lowest degree. The last question is similar to what we just did in number 4, but it's subtraction. So before you can combine like terms, you're going to need to distribute that negative. You don't do anything to the first group. So it's negative 5x plus 4. That stays the same. But that negative gets distributed to each term in the 2nd group. So minus 3x squared, minus minus becomes a plus 7x, and then minus 4. So you'll notice in the 2nd group, every single sign went to the opposite. If it was positive, it became negative. If it was negative, becomes positive. And I'm going to do my color coding to make sure that I combine like terms. I have an x squared, and since I don't have anything else, it's negative 3x squared. Sometimes it's also helpful once you use something to cross it out. Then I'm going to move on to just my x terms. So negative 5x and positive 7x is positive 2x. And then I have my positive 4 and negative 4. Well, those just cancel out. It's like saying plus 0. But you don't have to include that because if you notice in our answer choices, there is no plus 0. This would be answer choice letter D, negative 3x squared plus 2x. Hope that this was helpful. And if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great day.